With the 31st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver, Florida.
What a gangster.
Well, that doesn't really clear a lot up.
Man, it adds fuel to the rumor mill. Happy Payday Friday,
Yeah,
Steiny.
how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Catch me on Monday. I'll be bad, but right now I'm on top.
49ers select wide receiver Ricky Pearsall.
Why?
Out of Florida. What's that?
Why?
Because they're going to trade Debo now.
Something's good. Or Ayuk. Or you got it honed in the streets of San. No, he did tweet
San
it.
Francisco Chronicle saying Debo now more likely to be traded at some point.
Wow. Well, I'll say this, Steiny. I'm not going to give you the tennis shoes to run a victory lap, but I think highly of the Niner weaponry, and I always have. And that basically meant the wideouts and the tight end, and obviously McCaffrey. But PFF had something after the Super Bowl, and basically it was saying that the Niners receivers, Debo and Ayuk, didn't get a lot of separation. But with this pick, which I thought was going to be an O-lineman or something in the secondary, the kid can ball. Pretty Ricky. But the fact that you went that route tells me two things. You feel like that might be the reason you lost a game because you weren't explosive as Goo thought. So we'll see if something pops off, Steiny. But Michael Silver did tweet that it looks like it could be Debo now, not Ayuk.
Yeah. So we'll try to figure out where the 49ers go from here. 888-957-9570 is the number. Jump in and let's talk about this pick. The 49ers take a wide receiver. Wow. It's their first-round pick in 3 years. If you look at the last couple drafts, and I get it, Evan brought this up, they didn't have any first-round picks, but it's tough for young players to play on this team. They're kind of like the Warriors in the middle of their dynasty in a way. And you look at the last 2 years, and they haven't gotten a lot of contributions from guys because they're a Super Bowl contender. I look at this pick right here and say, well, if they don't make a move, if they don't trade Debo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk, this kid's not going to play.
Oh, he is, Steiny.
Oh, no chance. No chance he's going to play. If they don't trade, he's the fourth receiver.
But he plays slot, so he could bump off Juwan Jennings, Ricky Bell.
Yeah.
Steiny, you don't spend the first-round pick on a guy you don't think could hit the ground running and help you. That's all I'm saying. There's no doubt this kid is going to play. And the question I have with many others, is it going to be with the dynamic duo or just one of them? Steiny, you don't waste a first-round pick on a guy that you think is going to be a project or is not ready.
Where's he going to play?
The slot.
Well, to me, this is what's the one thing the 49ers
take the top off the defense.
No. Like, to me, what is the strength of the 49ers? Their weapons. Okay, they just added another one. But there's not a lot of room for him to play. They've got what they think are two dynamic receivers.
See,
right
I want to
now.
fight back on that. That's what I thought. So if there's no trade, Steiny, they're telling us they need more. And now it's all starting to fall in place. And I know the draft is really starting today, Steiny, and you got all the rounds where you find the diamonds in the rough and all your research and analytics come into play. So it's not over, but for them, and it's early, it signals to me that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch don't look at the offensive line as the reason they lost the Super Bowl. And they I feel like they're talking to me. Goo, you've been talking about where was this prolific offense all throughout the playoffs. And I never once thought maybe the wideouts weren't getting it done or not as dynamic. This kid, he's got some gifts. And if there's no trade, Steiny, that's telling me they need more when they throw the ball.
Yeah,
oh, wow. Yeah, that's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense unless
a lot of people were shocked.
Now,
what if you're trading one of the two then, Steiny? This is the replacement.
Well, to me, the one thing that makes sense is to get this guy in here as a rookie, knowing he's not going to play very much, but get him up to speed, and then at the end of the year, you determine what you're going to do with Debo Samuel. But
that means nobody's getting traded then. They would all three be here.
If they move somebody now, a wide receiver.
Like a Debo.
Well, then they got worse. They got worse at wide receiver.
I would back you up on that, but I would also say they must feel this kid.
But we spent the whole week.
Yeah, we did.
The whole week talking about if they had traded Brandon Ayuk, moved up to get a lineman, an offensive lineman, and then gone in with their guys. Like, I think everybody said, well, how do you get better if you trade Brandon Ayuk? Like, if they were to trade Ayuk or Deebo Samuel right now, they got worse at wide receiver.
Well, maybe they do in the second round, which I thought they should have did in the first round pick. Maybe they go get that offensive lineman that could give Purdy more protection. But now you got me thinking.
Like,
so you're saying
I don't think linemen's off the table. I
there's
think
no doubt they're going to.
They probably figured there's more. Well, plenty of chances to get linemen in the second round.
But this is where we differ. Now you got me scratching my head. So I'm under the assumption that if Deebo or Ayuk are moved, this guy would get first crack at replace. You're telling me Nagu, it still would be Juwan Jennings.
I don't know.
It still would be like this kid's got to play because you don't lose. I'm not going to say your heart and soul, but if it's Deebo or Ayuk, Steiny, those are factors on your offense. So they must look at this kid from Arizona State like he can hit the ground running.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Did Brandon Ayuk hit the ground running?
No, he did not.
As a higher pick?
That did, but. That was when Deebo, I don't want to say in his prime, though, Steiny. This offense was pre-McCaffrey. It was Deebo left, Deebo right, Deebo wide. It was Deebo-centric.
888-957-9570. Does this pick make sense to you, 49er fans?
Great question.
Or doesn't it make sense until something else happens? Are the 49ers going to go forward into training camp and into the regular season next year, this upcoming year, with still Deebo, with still Brandon Ayuk, and then you find out what you have in this rookie wide receiver? Or do you think they make a move before the season starts for Deebo or Brandon Ayuk? And Michael Silver's reporting that it's more likely now to be Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, he's tapped in, Steiny.
I'm just saying that before the draft, the one thing that people seem to suggest was that you can't be a better team immediately if you're playing a rookie wide receiver instead of either Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they brought this guy in as a rookie and get him up to speed in the first year. Hopefully after year one, you say, you know what, this guy's pretty good. Now we can confidently move off Deebo
So Juwan Jennings, and that's what I guess I'm omitting, Steiny. He probably honestly would get the more snaps. You know what I mean? If we think we are correct in the assessment that the Niners have a Juwan Jennings and maybe he would get the first crack at it, that doesn't sound crazy, and this kid would contribute. But now, I'm talking greasy like this kid is Justin Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb. I don't want to got a lot of tattoos, Donnie. I don't want to take that from him, but the Niners must feel that they got in-house replacement. But yesterday I left here, and I knew that you felt like me, Brandon Ayuk wasn't going to get traded today. Now with that Mike Silver tweet and the position that they drafted at wide receiver, which caught me off guard, do you think Deebo's traded today in round 2? I do.
Do you?
I don't want him to go, but you had other holes, other areas that needed attention, not receivers.
So I thought they got 9 picks left. So
the earlier you go, you would think the better you get.
I guess so, but they maybe thought that by their pick in the second round, that the receivers that they all liked wouldn't be there.
Well,
and the one that they liked was there, so they took him, and now probably in the second round they'll look for an
former
offensive
teammate.
lineman.
They played 1 year together, Steiny, and Evan let us know they worked out.
Yeah.
I listened to ABC. I watched ABC Channel 7. I don't know if you got to see Lynch and Shanahan's presser. Steiny, it wasn't weird, and I know I got a different type of mind, but they were talking about Ayuk, and Kawakami and some others asked, does that mean Ayuk's not getting traded? And I feel conflicted on the answers because they varied. Kyle was like, Ayuk's a Niner, we expect him here. And then in the same breath, our phone's always on. If we got, a great package, I'm like, if I'm Ayuk in this instance, I don't know if I like hearing my boss say, on one hand, not I'm untouchable, I'm here, but then on the other, hey, I'm using it. There could be a scenario to get Brandon Ayuk. Like, how would that make you feel?
Well, he started it. I mean, he was the guy who started on social media that he might have played his last game for the Niners. He's made his unhappiness apparent. So the 49ers have been asked about it, and they've been pretty straightforward about taking calls, making calls. They don't have anything that they liked enough to move him. But, I mean, to me, if I would look at this pick and say, well, just don't overthink it and tell me what your thoughts are, it would be, okay, they're not trading Deebo Samuel, and they're not trading Brandon Ayuk right now. That's what I take from the pick. I really do.
But how do you get better than Steiny if that was not an area of weakness to me? I'm not the aficionados. But
it's insurance.
What I mean?
It's insurance. They know. To me, I'll look at it as simply as possible. Is they know Deebo's only going to be on the team one more year. Maybe they know Deebo's only going to be on the team one more year. They had to get another receiver in here. They love this guy. And they decided to push off an offensive lineman to the second round. That makes sense to me.
All right.
The one thing that, to me, wouldn't make sense now is to trade Deebo Samuel right now and say, well, we have Super Bowl aspirations, but we have a wide receiver who's in his first year, and we're just hoping he's really, really good.
So you're going to stick to that.
I wouldn't
Not
do
that
that.
you have to. If we find out tonight and I text you later that Deebo's traded, you'll be like, what the F then? Why did you do it?
I mean,
how do you have Super Bowl or championship aspirations and you did something a year sooner than you had to? Because you're telling me without Deebo, and I agree, you're not a better offense, Steiny. No matter who the odds would be you taking a step back.
That's why I don't think anybody's moving.
But that's why that Michael Silver, and I'm not saying he's Jesus, I know he's tapped in, but Steiny, that tweet reads like he's getting that from somewhere.
Yeah, like this to me makes sense from the 510. The pick is insurance for and if Deebo Samuel gets hurt and misses any time, or if Deebo Samuel isn't on the team at the end of next year, which everybody seems to think is more than a possibility.
Yeah.
So that's the way I'm looking at it. If I'm a 49er fan, I'm saying to myself right now, okay, we just drafted a receiver because they know that they're going to lose a receiver in the next year. But you're right. I mean, if you trade Deebo Samuel right now and you go into the season with Jennings, with Ayuk, and with Pearsall, well, yeah, it would seem like you took a step back in terms of the receivers, but they've got 9 picks, and if they start stacking linemen, then maybe the thinking in the building is we'll just drop off a tick at the wide receiver position if this guy's good, and then we upgrade the offensive line more significantly so that the offense as a whole is better. Like, to me, that's a little riskier. Yeah. But if that's their thought process, then I understand it.
Yeah, and I left you all, and there was no part of my body or mind that thought when Goodell went up to, I was waiting for a trade first, Nani, but I never thought this position would be where they would go first. And Chicago Jason's on the First NorCal Credit Union YouTube chat. He said, guys, it was just day one of the draft. I get you, Chicago Jason, but I'm just perplexed. And there were 3 picks that perplexed me. This is one of them. Penix going to Atlanta when you just gave Kirk Cousins $100 million, and Bo Nix, Steiny. Those were the heads, and J.J. McCarthy going to Minnesota. So those were my 4 kind of, and I know it's day one, but, man, I got to tell you, I'm excited because I don't want Deebo to be gone off the Niners. That's just me.
This is what Kyle Shanahan said about Ricky Pearsall.
I mean, he's got the 40 to still get on top of people on the outside, where that starts a little bit. I mean, just got to have a threat of that to scare guys in a go route. And if you can do that, you can separate on the other routes. But he can get out of his break very well. He's not huge, but he's still got a good body to where he can do inside or any length of a corner. So, I mean, all of our receivers who play outside, they also play inside. So we kind of want a guy who can do it all.
That was Kyle Shanahan talking about Ricky Pearsall. 888-957-9570 is the number. What do you think of the pick, 49er fans? Do you feel like you understand it? Does it give you any certainty one way or the other with Deebo Samuel or Ayuk? How did this play among the 49er fans is what I'm interested in. Are you confused by the pick, or does it make sense?
What if you're Ayuk or Deebo? And I know you're going to say, Goo, I don't care, but I need you to. But would you be like, what the hell y'all doing? Or telling your family, we need to call you, we need to get some boxes around here because we might be we might be going somewhere. Like that's all. The kid can ball. You just lost the Super Bowl because we thought your offensive line wasn't up to par. Now I believe Kyle's telling us our receivers are not dynamic as much as Guru thinks.
Well, or he's saying, Guru, we're losing one. We're going to lose a guy.
But what happened to the Bob Myers, who got some love on the telecast yesterday, Steiny? You don't have to make a decision until you...
They didn't make a decision to trade anybody at this point.
Oh, okay.
To me...
But that could be changed after tonight.
You want to bet?
No, because I don't want to be right and Deebo be gone.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be gone.
Oh, all right, okay.
I don't think they're ready to move off Deebo Sam. I mean, we spent all week talking about how the draft is a crapshoot.
And it still is.
Right, but why? So why do you assume this guy can come? Oh, he's a baller. He's going to come in and ball.
No, I'm not.
I mean, he may not. He's probably not as good as Juwan Jennings.
And he's got to get stronger too, Steiny. Beat that bump and run coverage,
so
that man coverage.
You got him in here for a year to develop him, to see if he's legitimate.
I got you, Steiny. So when I see you Monday, you think Ayuk and Deebo still be here?
I do.
All right.
Absolutely. Otherwise, they're going to have to figure out a way to upgrade other positions.
That